What's going on, everyone? So kind of wanted to talk about cleaning the electric mower that we have. So we have a mean green, and everybody's always worried about electric and water and all of that, and there are some things that you don't want to get wet, but overall everything, you can clean it, pressure wash it, and whatever you need to do to keep it looking good. So today I'm going to go ahead and run this and kind of show you just how we would clean it, and give you a little bit of idea of what these machines are capable of on that end. So I'm going to start up the pressure washer, and we're going to get this thing cleaned up. Alright, so here we go. Alright, so we want to talk about why we're able to clean this machine, and as far as some of the areas you don't want to get wet, and why we're able to get some of these areas wet. So this is one of the electric motors. There's 3 of those on the deck. There are some wire connections just behind this. The power is off to the machine right now. Wouldn't necessarily cause a big issue if there was. You're not going to get a lot of arcing or any of that sort of thing. They do have some protection for the wiring on that. So you want to watch your key switch. Try not to get that wet. This has got a kind of a shield on it to keep water and dirt from inside of there. I went ahead and hit the battery display. Probably want to avoid that a little bit. But really not a lot that you can damage with what we're doing. Probably the more important part of this, there are 2 areas that you want to kind of avoid getting wet. One is where the battery compartment, we'll show you the batteries in the next video. Those have a BMS system, which is a battery management system, so there's some circuit boards within the battery. So technically they can get wet, but you just don't want to get extra moisture into those systems. That's what keeps your batteries running. They're sensing temperature and that sort of thing. So we want to kind of avoid opening this up and pressure washing in there. Underneath the seat, you've got some controllers and some other electrical components. Most of it's actually waterproof. The actual units, the drive motor controllers and so forth, are waterproof. It has a deck lift system, that's waterproof as well. But generally, I want to avoid getting water into those areas. We're typically going to blow that compartment out, make sure there's no leaves and stuff like that in there. So I'm going to go ahead and finish rinsing off this machine and just kind of show you what you guys are capable of doing with it and what we do as a company to maintain our equipment. That's for the next guy that's going to run the machine. I want to make sure that he's got a nice wet seat to sit in. Actually, unfortunately, it's me, because I'm moving this for another location. And I'm going to watch some of these areas here. This is your deck adjustment and so forth. It is waterproof. I'm just going to try to avoid getting too much water in that area. And actually, I like using a high pressure system like this for pressure washing it off. And I mean, it's not overly powerful, but you're using a lot less volume of water to kind of clean some of these areas. If I were to take a hose, I would have to use quite a bit of water and potentially get in there a little bit easier. So I do want to mention, while I'm thinking about it right now as I'm cleaning this, we actually did have one of these machines, kind of a long story, got a little wet, like a lot wet, like very wet. And not just regular water or fresh water, it had some brackish, some salt in the, I don't know what I would call that it went into. It was kind of a lagoon. But anyway, we got to, in that experience, see kind of the durability of the machine, what water does. In that case, obviously a fairly catastrophic event. The machine itself was completely underwater. We had to rework some of these motors. This motor here, and these are all similar. The electric system is relatively simple. All it has is a rotor and an armature, and basically we had some issues with one of the drive motors not working. We took that apart, cleaned it up, put it back in, and it's actually, I believe this machine is the one that did get we call it the water machine, or in the drink, but this is working good now, and we've put about 100 hours or so since that occurred. So it's just something that when you're running these machines, you want to make sure that everything's working correctly, that you explain to the guys how to use the machine properly, and some of the safety features. They are a little bit different than you are going to see with a normal hydraulic system. A lot of similarities, but there are some things that you want to be aware of. But one of the really good things for us is by seeing that and seeing what these things can do with water, it makes you feel a lot more comfortable. It's not like your cell phone. I don't need to get an entire bag of rice and go ahead and put this over now that I've done this, so that might be kind of hard. I don't know if Ziploc is making one for a machine. Maybe it's something they want to look into for some of the competitors for Mean Green. I don't need it for this, so I don't need a big bag of rice, so which is great. So I'm really, really pleased overall. I finished cleaning it. One other thing as I'm cleaning, there's all kinds of things I'm noticing right now. So we got a couple of paint chips and so forth. These are aluminum, so even though this is exposed here, we're not going to get rust, and we're not going to rust through the deck, which is a great feature with this machine, as opposed to some of the other electric machines that are out there. To not have to worry about rust everywhere is just a critical thing for us in the longevity of the machine. There are some components of it that are steel. Most of it's bolt-on and so forth, but this deck here, this and here is all aluminum. I believe this frame here is aluminum. Yes, it is. So we've got some stuff here on the front forks that is steel, but most of the machine is aluminum. So it makes it a little easier to clean up. You don't have the issue with rust and so forth building up and rusting out your machine. So. This is not approved by Mean Green also. I just want to stipulate that. So, Zach, if you're watching. So I have my Makita blower specifically designed for blowing off a wet Mean Green mower. Just kidding. Anyway, we're going to go ahead and try to blow off some of the water. All right, so here we go. By the way, if you're ever washing your car, this is a great piece of equipment right here. You don't have to dry it, you don't have to do the towels, you just blow it off. Now another thing is, and this is, you never want to get this area wet over here, so we're going to blow out this compartment. So this is all of your controllers. We have our main controllers, two main controllers here. Those are running your drive motors. And then you have three other controllers that are running your deck motor. So that's controlling the voltage and making sure that they're not overheating and giving them the right power for the machine to run. So it's relatively simple as far as what is going on in this. So obviously these are somewhat complicated inside, but basically they either work or they don't, and it's a part that can be easily replaced. So also here you have your motor for the deck. That's actually the original motor for this machine. It was partially submerged and is still working. So we had some other things that did occur. These are original. These were replaced after the machine was partially submerged. Drive motors are still original. So it's really held up. These do hold up well to water, which is something that I was concerned about when we started getting into this. So Basically in this engine compartment, look at me. In this area here with all your electric components, we want to try to get some of this dirt and so forth. We're going to go ahead and blow out that area. So I'm going to do that now. So let me come over here. And we have a clean compartment with all of our electronics. This is the main area that's controlling most of the machine. So that's controlling your deck, drive motors, and all that. You do have your battery compartment here. I'll show that in a few. I'm going to go ahead and work on blowing this off a little bit more, and then we'll get it up and running. Alright, we are clean. So we're actually ready right now. I'm going to hop on this. Get my nether region wet, sitting on it. I really should have thought about that, I think, before I got the seat wet, but oh well. Here we go. Blades are going to go ahead and come on.